When we developed the 55 Parallels campaign, we thought of three strands that united our two countries: people-to-people links, values and innovation. And when I look back on 2 years, I've seen real progress on all of those three. On people-to-people links, the Red Arrows tour is a huge highlight, thinking of the pop-up consulate we had on Halifax waterfront, the celebrations in Vancouver, all those conversations we had with Canadians with positive stories and connections to the UK. On values, a highlight I think for me was the Media Freedom Coalition, formed by the UK and Canada, with the first conference and all the follow-up actions that have taken place since then, expanding into a much broader set of cooperation on the Force for Good agenda, sanctions in China, work in Belarus, LGBT rights, gender equality. It's a really impressive agenda. Finally, on innovation, we're thinking of our Arctic science collaboration, all the work we've been doing on zero-emission vehicles, hydrogen, smart grids. It's amazing to see our scientists, our innovators, our academics, what they can achieve when they work together. So looking back on these last couple of years, I think 55 Parallels has been a chance to showcase the best of the relationship, but there's more to come.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I've been leading the 55 Parallels campaign for a little over a year. 55 Parallels is such a special campaign as it highlights the ties that bind the UK and Canada, such as our people-to-people ties, our shared values, and our quest for innovation. Since the start of the campaign, we have been sharing stories that showcase how these ties create such a strong bond between both countries. Now that we look to close the campaign, we reflect back on these stories and some of our favorites. My personal favorite has to be the soccer versus football story, which highlights the similarities and the differences between the UK and Canada. For this story, we interviewed members of the Cavalry FC, a Calgary-based Canadian Premier League team. We asked them questions that would have very different answers here in Canada compared to the UK, and their responses are quite entertaining.
What's harder, playing in the rain or playing in freezing temperatures?
Freezing temperatures. It is terrible. The ground is hard and it's cold. Like, you can't feel your feet, you can't feel your hands. It's terrible. Your face is frozen.
All these stories, like the soccer versus football story, showcase how these ties create such a strong bond between the UK and Canada.
As we bring our 55 Parallels campaign to a close, I wanted to take a moment to revisit the Showing Our Pride story. The story came to life as we wanted to explain why it is important for the UK to take part in Pride across Canadian cities, but also to underline the crucial work that we do overseas together in advocating for LGBTQ+ rights. Pride is more than just a street party. It connects us to the cities where we live, but it's also a symbol of progress. On top of that, it also acts as a stimulus to conversations on what more needs to be done around the world, and gives encouragement to those around the world where being LGBTQ+ comes with incredible difficulties and discrimination. It's one of many areas where Canada and the UK work so well together, and it was great to be able to highlight it in this way, and I'm delighted that we were able to run the story and show exactly what Showing Our Pride means.
The UK and Canada share many commonalities, and this in turn creates a strong and enriched relationship. I am proud to have worked on the 55 Parallels campaign, bringing to light the many ways that we can collaborate and thrive together. I've found all the 55 Parallels stories compelling, but I have to say that I particularly enjoyed the podcast episode with Jean Lemire, a prominent figure in Quebec in the fight against climate change.
Hi, I'm Chloe Adams. I'm the British Consul General in Montreal, and I want to tell you about a campaign that we did recently around three themes that matter greatly to me and to both the UK and to Canada: nature, mental health and climate change. So back in May, both Canada and the UK had their mental health awareness weeks, and we thought it was particularly important to highlight these this year because of the toll that the pandemic has taken on many of us in terms of our mental well-being. So we invited conservation champions from across Canada to show us in video interviews their outdoor oases and to talk to us about why being in nature, connecting with nature, is so important for our mental health. They also gave us their top messages for the COP26 climate change conference that the UK is hosting in November, and where protecting nature will be an important theme.
I find that getting out into nature really gives me more perspective. It allows me to kind of just get a better handle on how I'm feeling, on what is important, on, how to get a sense of control over all of the things that I have going on.
We also partnered with the Climate Hub at the University of British Columbia and organised a fantastic event with young activists and researchers. They explained the phenomenon of eco-anxiety and how it's both a concern but also potentially a source of inspiration for climate action. And they talked about why it's important to ensure everyone has access to nature and the mental health benefits that this brings. I felt so inspired listening to all of these amazing individuals, and I also thought that this campaign highlighted perfectly the shared values between the UK and Canada and how we work together on important challenges such as climate change.
Hi, I'm Cara, and I had the pleasure of working on the 55 Parallels campaign alongside my talented colleagues. One aspect of the campaign was our podcast series called 3 Questions and a Cup of Tea. Our host was our British High Commissioner, Susan Lejeune-Dalgazec, and each episode she interviewed a different British or Canadian guest over a cup of tea. They discussed the ties that bind UK and Canada, as well as their own personal experiences. I had the pleasure of editing at least one of these podcasts, and I gotta say it didn't take much work. They're genuinely riveting conversations. My favorite is episode 1, which has the Canadian author Margaret Atwood in it, and she discusses her experiences living in the UK from the perspective of a Canadian.
We launched the 55 Parallels campaign 2 years ago, right as we were gearing up to host the arrival of the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows, on their largest ever North America tour, which included 4 Canadian stops with flyovers over 5 cities and 2 air shows. It was a really special time because it was the first chance that we had to be able to showcase the new 55 Parallels campaign at in-person activations. It featured at many of our events, and it was a great chance to be able to celebrate the UK-Canada connections between our people, our shared values, and our quest for innovation. The Red Arrows actually featured twice in our 55 Parallels catalog. The first was a podcast with then Red 11 Wing Commander Andrew Keith, and we actually recorded that podcast right on the grounds of the Canadian International Air Show in Toronto, and you can listen to it on our 3 Questions and a Cup of Tea podcast. The second was a really special story that we put together around fall last year when we were marking the 1-year anniversary of the Red Arrows having been in Vancouver, which was the last of their Canadian stops. It was a chance for our team and theirs to be able to look back on what had been an incredible tour, and we premiered it at a live event that we held with then Red 1 Squadron Leader Martin Pert and Red 10 Squadron Leader Adam Collins. 55 Parallels has been a really special chance to celebrate all of those UK-Canada connections, and the Red Arrows is such a great example of it. All of those special UK-Canada moments, from the Red Arrows flying with the Canadian Snowbirds with Commander Chris Hadfield, to the many different events and partnerships and collaborations, to the thousands of Canadians who came out to support and watch the Red Arrows at our enhanced flypass and air shows, Paint the Skies Red, White, and Blue. It's been a really special story to tell and a special campaign to be a part of.